Hello there, Z Trooper reporting for duty, and this is part 3 of What If Deku was the son of All for One. We last left off on where the Deku was showing signs of his speed and healing. And now we start off here. When Deku ran to his apartment faster than he usually was, excited to tell his parents he couldn't control his speed, since it was new to him, and when he tried to slow down, but he slipped and slammed into the door. His parents heard a door slam and wondered what that sound was, and went back to go check what that sound was on the door. They found their son on the floor and was scared and concerned for him and wondering if he was alright. They kind of panicked a little. But he picked up his head slowly and had a big smile on his face. His parents were wondering why he had that smile on his face, and were curious. Why they were wondering why he didn't have any scratches or anything. Hisashi knew that his son's quirks were starting to change his body and show signs for his abilities. With Deku and his parents so happy knowing their son got his quirk, but Hisashi was happier knowing he made his son's dreams come true. To have a quirk and have a chance to become a hero. The next morning, Deku wanted to go to the doctor and go see if he has another quirk besides lightning. Deku asks his dad if he wants to come with him and his mom to see if he has another quirk. His dad politely says no because he has a few business calls to make. His son and his wife understands and says we'll come back later. And Hisashi turns back into All for One because his transformation quirk can't last too long. So he gets on his phone and calls the doctor, telling him to make sure that you say the speed and the healing is a rare thing to happen, and don't say that it is something new. They'll get suspicious while he has two quirks and increases speed and strength. The doctor says, yes sir. I was planning to anyways. All for One just said simply, thank you. When Deku and his mom got there, Deku was so excited to see if he got a speed quirk. His mom was a bit curious though, that he got a lightning quirk and probably a speed and healing quirk, since she noticed his bruises healing a lot faster than they were. She wondered why he wasn't showing signs for like a telekinesis quirk like she has, or a fire breath quirk like her husband has. As she was thinking, the doctor was right in front of her, saying, "We are able to see your son right away." She looked at her son and said, "Well, that was fast." As the doctor looked at Deku's body, scanning, and he saw the electricity going through his body, and he sees some of his scars starting to heal, and he thinks to himself, so he gave the kid those ones, the good quirks. Then he actually looked at Inko and said that the boy has two quirks, lightning and healing. Inko says, okay, what about him being a little bit faster and stronger? The doctor says that is just the electricity in his body. It's just giving his muscles a little boost. The doctor didn't tell the other doctors and told the two of them not to tell anyone else, since it's a rare thing. Of course, that's a lie, not having any multiple quirks, but it's something he promised his boss. But both of them agreed to not say a word, so they left. Then years later, we're at the beginning of the story where Deku is now 15 and looks buffer and is as tall as Bakugo. He's not a bit shorter, he's taller now. And had some anger towards Bakugo. In class, and the teacher talked about what the students want to be, and Bakugo being a show-off, saying he is better and will surpass All Might. Then One random kid said, "Yeah, sure, but I'm not sure you can be Midoriya." Then Bakugo just had a pissed off look in his face and turned to the kid slowly and just said, "What the hell did you just say?" Deku just looked up from his desk and looked across the room, wondering why that one guy said that. A lot of the kids said, "Oh yeah, he's a very powerful guy. He could probably kick your ass, Katsuki." All Deku said was, "I wouldn't go that far." And Bakugo in an angry tone said, "Yeah, you're right. You wouldn't be able to lay a finger on me." Deku said, "Yeah, that's because I can shock you again just from here, just from lifting my finger." Hearing Bakugo talk down to him, and this time didn't make him feel sad like in the original story. He felt angrier, not too much, but some hatred towards him. They started to give each other that wanna fight look. The teacher stopped him and said, "That's enough. You guys can say that for UA." That's when Bakugo was so mad. He was just silent for the rest of the class, for the rest of the day. As soon as class ended, Bakugo told Deku, "We need to talk," in such an angry tone, but silent. And Deku just said, "Sure," in a curious tone. He was wondering what Bakugo was going to do or say. Whatever Kachan was planning, I need to be ready for something bad. Instead, Bakugo just said, "Don't hold back if you do go to UA, no matter what happens." Deku said, Are you sure? Because I can probably shock you enough to where you're unconscious or for a long time. Or maybe even worse. What about, I don't care. Just don't hold back. For I can show you I'll beat you, even at your full power." Bakugo was angry, but he wanted to tell Deku that no matter what happens, they'll always be enemies, but he wants him to fight at his fullest. After school, Deku walked home from school knowing if he gets into UA, he'll have a chance to be a hero like he always dreamed of, but also having the chance to fight Kacchan. He doesn't like him that much, but not enough to really hurt him badly, since he knows that his lightning is strong enough on its own, and his powers have grown since the first time he used it on him. He can shoot lightning up to 50 yards, and at a very strong voltage. While he was thinking, he wanted to fight Bakugo. Well, if he wanted to. He takes a shortcut like in the original story, and the sludge villain surprises him while he was in a deep think. The sludge villain gets a hold of Deku, and the sludge villain tries to suffocate him. Deku thinks real fast and uses a little bit of lightning to stun him. Deku gets loose and tries to catch his breath. The sludge villain says, "What a powerful quirk. It'll be real easy to use it and very helpful to me." As soon as the villain is about to attack him again, Deku starts charging up the electricity in his hands to stun him again. As soon as they were about to fight, All Might showed up and punched the villain into the wall. He got Deku by the shirt to make sure he wouldn't get thrown to the wall also. Deku didn't know what has happened or who saved him, and looked at the man who saved him, and saw his childhood idol, All Might. Before All Might showed up and stopped them, before they were about to fight, All Might saw Deku losing his lightning on his hands and how he stunned the villain. And he was very impressed. to see Deku standing his ground. And then all Deku said was, thanks. All Might put the villain in those cups, and they started to talk for a while, but then All Might took off. Since All Might was close to his limit, he started to feel a bit dizzy, and dropped the bottled villain when he didn't realize it. The villain landed where it did originally, where Bakugo and his friends were. The rest from there played originally to the point where Deku was in the area where Bakugo was, and Deku ran towards the villain, this time using his lightning to blind the villain again, but enough to save Bakugo, and said to Bakugo, as much as I hate you, as much as I hate your attitude, I don't really want to see you die. And All Might was impressed to see that kid again in his actions. So like originally, he was inspired and buffed up to save both of them. And again, like in the original story, those heroes got mad at Deku for running at the villain. But this time in the story, they were impressed. They said, "Kid, you're really stupid for running at that villain, but you do have guts. And with that lightning quirk, it could be handy." Later on, Deku was happy knowing he saved Bakugo, but he knew he didn't change nothing between them. Bakugo said the same thing like in the story, the same whenever he went to go whenever Deku went to go save him. Then after a while, Deku kept on walking, and then All Might showed up, like he originally, and he said, "You showed bravery, inspired me to go over my limit to finish the fight. But I can thank you for starting it. But I can't do this forever. So, do you accept my power, one for all?" Well, that's all I got for now, and I'm gonna be doing more probably tomorrow, probably the next day. Let me know if you want Deku to get all for one. I mean, one for all, before he can increase his lightning and speed and everything. But or he can say no and just make his quirk strong enough to knock down a whole city's power grid or something like that. But that's something for you to decide. And as always, click the like button, make sure you subscribe, notification bell to know when the next video will show up. And Z Trooper dismissed.